let's go.
Oh, I've got a brutal joke.
You got a brutal joke?
It's a mean one. I don't think I'll say it.
Who's it mean to?
It's just, why did the wombat decide to cross over the road?
Why?
To see his flatmate.
Oh no, wouldn't want to offend those wombats out there.
That's pretty.
You should have used that. You've wasted it at the top of the show.
I don't know, but that was a mean one. Animal cruelty.
You've got a really difficult moral compass to predict.
Okay.
Some of the jokes you think are great.
I think that was fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I'll use it then.
Any wombats listening got a complaint? Podcast at outbackqb.com. Let us know. We've got a big show, boys. We've got a big show. Joke of the week's already been done. So it's,
okay, done.
I didn't think we were actually recording.
Well, look, when you dish up gold like that, I sort of have to keep it in the show. I'm obliged. It's my job. But we've got the mock draft next week. And if you have not sent in your request to read out or intro your team, then please do it now. People are filling up the spots already. We're going to put another post out tonight on our Instagram. So if you want to introduce your team for the mock draft episode next week, let us know at podcast at outbackqb.com. We've got all sorts. We're talking the teams with the most desperate draft needs. We're talking mock draft trades. There's just one more little window, Hawley, to see if we can get a couple more deals done. Doss's, well, he's going to sit that out because he's got Doss's trivia.
I offered last week.
The worst trade.
I threw in Baltimore at the end. You just didn't want to take a pick 27 at the end with it.
He wants to
all right,
leave early. And we'll also review last year's mock draft because going through it, there are a few surprises. So we'll see how we did there. But let's get into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Outback Quarterback Podcast for another week. Curtis DeBoer, your QB3 with you. QB2, Chris Hall to my right. QB1, Matthew Maidment, the legend, to my left. Look at that, the salute, it's staying now. You did it on YouTube, got a good reception. I pumped you up, and now that's your signature move.
Well, I'm going to roll with it. Why not? Week on week, let's just keep it going. Oh, do you know what I miss about that intro, though? Because we keep changing the intro music.
Yeah, we do.
Keep going back and forth. So it's hard to know which one you're going to roll with. I do miss the commentary that we used to have.
Oh, yes.
That went over the top of that.
That was good. It was good. Heavily copyrighted. Many infringements in that intro, so I thought I'd take it out before we get too massive. But
Can you get it? If you go back and listen to the old ones, is it all still in there? Or do you go back and remove it?
With my legal advice hat off, yes, you can listen to that. With my legal hat on, please don't.
Oh, okay.
No, you can find it. It's still there.
Okay.
It's still there. I'm sure. I mean,
it was really cool.
NBC aren't coming for us yet, but, you know, always pays to be cautious. It was a cool intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the outro as well.
And the outro. Okay. Anything else you like less about the show these days compared to the old days?
No, I like a lot. No, quite comfortable here. And I got a chair now.
Yeah, you do, don't you? Yeah, you got a
back support.
You had a chair before.
You've always had a chair.
No back
yeah.
support. Just didn't have the back support.
I suppose it was more of a stool, wasn't
or
it?
a swivel.
A timber stool.
Or a swivel.
It was an unofficial stool because it wasn't made to be a stool. It was made to be a chair and then it broke.
Don't swing on your kids. Don't swing on your kids. Don't swing on your chairs, kids.
Good advice. And your mum gave you that advice for 3 years
I think
by that point.
Yeah.
And
That's
it finally
a
happened.
good record. One chair broken every 33 years.
It's like parking. Like people say, oh, don't park there. You can't park there. It's like, well, if you park illegally a lot of times and, you know, gain the benefits maybe 50 times before you get caught, then you've made a lot more money in parking fines than you've had to pay for the eventual one that you get caught for. So, same sort of thing.
Scofflaw.
Risk reward. Hey?
Scofflaw.
What's scofflaw?
It's Newman in Seinfeld.
Ah,
the
yeah.
whale.
That's right. That's right. That's a good Seinfeld reference.
Amassed parking tickets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You and your Seinfeld. I haven't watched Seinfeld, so I don't get any of this stuff.
That's all right. For the three listeners who are still into Seinfeld, send us a DM and tell us how much you appreciate it.
Start of the show for all our wombats out there.
Oh yeah, stay strong.
Got your back, brother.
Stay strong. Well, no, you don't because you made a joke about him.
Oh, I didn't want to make the joke though.
Well, look, it was a big morning in sport, not NFL necessarily, but Rory McIlroy, he won the Masters in
it was marvelous,
incredible fashion.
I was so excited.
It was good. It was a great finish.
It was classic Rory, just missing easy putts again.
Yep.
His irons were absolutely on point. His driver, everything was perfect. He couldn't have approached the green better except for the
18th
when he put it in the bunker with his lob wedge.
Yep.
But man, missing what was it, like a 4-footer on the 18th to bogey it? It's just I could feel it.
I know.
I could feel it.
It was a tense half an hour after that. That first playoff hole seemed to take forever, but he got it done, and it's a monkey off the back. And it made me think about, what droughts haven't we broken yet? Things that, we've achieved a lot in our careers as podcasters with the Outback QB podcast. 3-year anniversary, boys, by the way. So congratulations and thank you for your service and your time. But in those
bonuses.
Mate, you
bonus?
still have not invoiced for your first
Oh,
payment.
I could probably use that money at the moment.
What are we at?
Cake Hawley or drinks?
Anything?
Any candy?
Build your
Fit
studio.
aids?
Get yourself a water. We're good.
BYO.
You've been working all day, Dos?
I have, and this
Yeah,
is
so have I.
lukewarm. It's not even cold water that I brought up.
That's because the drive out is an hour and 45 minutes.
You
so
brought the
in
water.
the heat.
Correct.
Yeah, long drive to the studio I built for
Have
you
to
guys.
turn the aircon off to save petrol to get out here.
Turn the aircon off to get up the hill.
Not to mention walking up the driveway.
Yeah.
Oh, the
I started to
driveway.
get sweaty after.
Well, that's just because you're unfit. That's on you, man.
Probably is.
It is hot, though. Anyway, happy anniversary, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Glad you're here. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, things that we haven't achieved yet that we might, the droughts we might break one day soon. I was thinking maybe the blue tick, Dos. That's been something that has
Blue
been hanging
tick.
over our head. We haven't quite got yet.
Well, we can just go and apply for it and pay a fee if we
that's the
really
thing.
wanted
It's not
to.
an achievement.
Yeah.
How many followers before that would be appropriate?
10,000
10,000.
Yeah, I
then you go
reckon
and
that
pay
sounds
for it.
about
on
right.
Insta.
Yeah, but paying for it's so lame. And
Yeah,
they
it
are
is.
plugging it hard. I don't know about you, Dos, but every third time I open the Insta app, they've got some promotion for the blue tick or make it look better, get more views. It's
Meta
like, well,
verified.
it's just bribery. Like we have to pay for views, do we? Is that how it works?
Not sure, but obviously it's a model that people sort of roll with. So
Yeah, the
I-
tryhards.
make it look a little more professional, Kurt does.
Yeah, but you used to earn it. Well, on Twitter, at least you earned it, didn't
Well, I
you?
don't even know if
I think
with
you need to
Instagram
earn
you
it.
still need to earn it, do you?
You need it, but I think you should earn it.
Yeah.
But at what point do you earn it?
I
Like,
don't
how
know.
do you just get
well,
it?
that's what
Well,
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think the ability to pay for it unlocks after a certain time. So we
Right.
have unlocked it with our 4,000 followers or whatever it is, but
Ah,
we still need to
gotcha.
pay. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a question without notice. I was thinking maybe once we get to like over 1 million downloads, that would be a drought that we could break and we could
That'd be
celebrate that.
pretty
Like
cool.
I would be sobbing in joy on the ground like Rory was today if we got to 1 million downloads.
what would we get for 1 million downloads? Little
I'd
party?
get
Would
you
you have
a
a
cold.
party?
I get you a cold glass of water. There you go.
Out on the new deck?
Yeah. Construction's still going well. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
beautiful.
Yeah, actually, I got to bring that up. Hawley didn't come in or knock at the door or come through the garage today. He just decided to let himself down the side gate and go check out the building out there before he said hello. Kathy, doing the vacuuming inside, sees a random man just walking in our backyard that she didn't expect.
Oh, pretty
not a
awkward.
random man.
Crazy.
Who's been up here.
Who would be here at 4:40 on a Monday afternoon, Dos? Who's been here at 4:40 on a Monday afternoon every day for the last 2 years?
Who's painted the whole house? Who's painted the deck?
For a fee, not out of the goodness of his heart.
I did invoice for you for that as well, actually.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not fussed. You don't have to.
No worries,
Oh,
I won't.
don't worry about the admin, mate. It's fine.
Cool.
All right, you guys have not really bought into this. I'm going to move on. It's meant to be a celebration of the show, and you just pounded me with criticism.
How good were the comments that
Pounded.
we got?
The comments are great. Yeah, the
On the
reel
reel.
went well. Thank you to everybody who sent some nice words.
Nice word.
Yeah.
And the messages that we got. So.
It was lovely. Yeah.
Still waiting on the topless gritty.
Well,
we're not at 4,000
we're not there
yet.
yet.
Firstly,
We're still
Close.
30,
How far off are we?
30 short.
Is that all?
lost a few over the weekend. Gained a few, lost a few.
That's always that's
Week in the
Instagram.
life of an influencer.
Yeah.
Boys, we've got some news to get through. NFL news. Why did you laugh at that?
Week in the life of an influencer. I reckon.
Sorry, I should say influencers, us three. You know, that really high-profile market that is Australian NFL influencers. Anyway, we do have some headlines. I'll get the news going. Actually, before I get the news going, that was loud, wasn't it? I won't do this with a little sound effect because there was some sad news that we'll treat seriously. Carr and Lacey, the wide receiver from LSU, 24 years of age, passed away. He was a draft prospect. He was a realistic chance of going. I'm not sure where because he had some off-field troubles that have sort of ended in this tragedy. So we won't talk about that. That's not important as far as his draft prospects. Obviously, a life lost and it's tragic. We think of Kyrie Jackson, the problem, the loss that Minnesota suffered last year with the newly drafted player. So it has been a very rough 12 months for prospects in the NFL with some bad news. So we won't talk any more about that because we can't do it justice, but obviously thinking of Carr and Lacey. We will move on to the less serious stuff, and that is more turmoil for the Saints, boys. It just gets worse because Derek Carr's injured his shoulder, Dos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, by all
Not
reports,
fully recovered from... Finished this season with a shoulder injury.
Yeah, I think he's re-injured. Well, not fully recovered / re-injured, but they think he might not be ready for the start of the season.
No.
And that's months away. We're only in April. This must be pretty bad.
Are we talking start of the season or, like 2 or 3 months of the season? Because there is a difference. There is a pick 9 who Dos been talking about Sanders a lot. I think if he's out for 3 months, 2 or 3 months of the season, then it maybe plays their hand to say, all right, let's go. Let's take Sanders. If he's only out for a couple of weeks, then it's not as important. Sign a backup, play a backup for a few weeks, and then roll with Carr.
Yeah, I mean, that does make a big difference. So you're changing your whole draft strategy because Derek Carr might miss week 1 and 2? I don't think so.
I think regardless that they will draft a quarterback, whether it's with their first round pick or their second round pick, I think they will draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft.
You mentioned off air, Hawley, just before we started, some Brock Purdy rumors floating around that he might get traded to the Saints.
Yeah, I just had a quick look at this. They said there was some Brock...
He's going to get a contract extension from the 49ers.
Some Brock Purdy traction. Saints seem to be interested, and if Carr is down, then Purdy's the man. I know obviously Kellen Moore might be interested in a decent young quarterback. So
why do you laugh at that, Dos?
Because
it's not a done deal, is it, at San Fran?
It will be a done deal. So
they've cleared out the cap space for him.
So Brock Purdy is due a contract extension. The Saints, who are in horrendous cap
that is the
hell, and they're going to bring who they're paying Derek Carr, and they're going to trade and bring Brock Purdy in. Please, I don't even.
It did seem odd when I heard it. To be honest, where was this from, Hawley? What's your source?
Oh, I've deleted it already.
Didn't exist. He just made that up.
But I can see the Saints
I might start
going for a rookie quarterback.
Really just to fire Dos up.
Just chucking in a random rumor that you've started. I mean, technically, if you started, it's still a rumor.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Where did you hear it from? Oh, from myself.
You've never named a source before. Why would you start now?
HPB burner account. Just dropping NFL gossip all over socials.
Pat from Tatum. That's who it is.
You see, like 99 of them just go nowhere. They have like 0 or 1 likes, but then one just catches fire about Patrick Mahomes.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. Then you're off. Still waiting for one of our things to catch fire on social media, but we'll get there one day. So that's Derek Carr. Joe Flacco is back with the Browns, boys. The Cleveland Browns have re-signed their playoff master.
Home.
He's home.
He's home.
He's home.
He's another comeback player of the year's coming Joe Flacco's way. Watch.
How many times can you win that? Well, look, he's there in the room with Kenny Pickett. So now their room is very weird. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson on the injured list.
With a torn Achilles.
With a torn Achilles.
What a quarterback room that is.
So what?
Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett. Come on.
You've got 2 Super Bowl champions in there.
Yeah, you do.
Former first round draft pick Kenny Pickett as well.
Yeah, two champions, and it's not Deshaun Watson. So
the guy you're paying the most money to.
And there's still people saying that they're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. So this is just getting weirder at Cleveland. I don't know. I just had to mention who's there, but not sure how much juice is in that lemon. Finally, Aidan Hutchinson. He's to pass some final tests this week. And I saw him running it just a week or two ago, and he was moving. He's even doing change of direction.
He's prime.
And after these final tests, he will be declared fit and fully rehabbed from that horrifically broken leg early in the season. Crazy.
That's so quick.
What's that, 7 months?
Something
8 months? He's superhuman.
Yeah, it would have been early October.
Yep. Crazy. So that's good news. That's
good
great news to finish. That's Aidan Hutchinson. We'll be back with some desperate... what is it? Trade needs? Draft needs. All right, boys. You've been tasked with picking 2 teams each. I've done it as well. Who have the most desperate draft needs. Now, the 25th of April, what's that? That's 11 days away. We've got our mock draft episode next week, and then it's the draft on Anzac Day. That's
this
day
time
1.
Next week. Well, Monday.
This time next week is our mock draft.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Friday is round 1 of the draft, our time. Then we've got Saturday and Sunday as well, so it's a huge weekend. And with that, we need to do some more analysis because there are a couple of teams that are absolutely desperate. We've mentioned a few already. Some that'll come up tonight we haven't really talked about. So, Dos, do you want to kick us off with a positional group in a franchise that just needs to be nailed in this draft?
Well, fellas, the Atlanta Falcons have got pick 15, pick 46, and then they've got their own 4th rounder, and then 2 7-round picks.
Ooh, there's
so
some
they've got
gaps in there.
Yeah, 5 picks in this draft.
Where did?
Well, their 3rd-round pick went to Hawley's Patriots in the Matt Judon trade.
Ugh.
So
Yuck.
I'm going to talk about that, which is appropriately linked to this little point I'm about to make, because if the Falcons don't address their defensive issues in this draft,
Yep.
GM, Terry Fontenot, and everyone else in the scouting department should be punted.
Wow.
Everyone.
This is his 5th
Families
year.
on the streets in Atlanta.
I was reading up on him a little bit, and then I heard everyone in the department should be punted.
Terry Fontenot's final say over roster construction reports directly to owner Arthur Blank on all roster and drafting decisions. So the Falcons offense has former top 10 picks, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, plus 1st-round picks at left tackle, and right guard. Their offense is set. Meanwhile, the defense has been dead last in sacks the past 5 seasons, 10 seasons, 15 seasons. So let's have a
Sorry, not each of those last seasons. You're talking cumulatively.
Yes.
And why did you say they should be sacked? If what happens, they should all be sacked?
If they don't address the defensive line and the defense in this draft, they should all be gone.
Okay. I mean, even if the Michael Penix thing turns out to be a raging success and Terry's a genius?
Yeah, that might work. But their defense, they'll still
you're
give up a whole bunch of defense. So in one of the deepest drafts for defensive linemen in years that we've seen, the Falcons must take the best available pass rusher at pick 15, and then it's either defensive tackle or on the D-line again at 46, fellas, because remember, Grady Jarrett, your boy, Kurt, was released and signed with Chicago.
But if it's a deep draft, Dosh, you can wait to the 7th round. Don't worry about it.
You could really load up the offense. You could take a really good receiver at 15, Dosh, and then they're set for probably the next 8 years on offense.
I reckon they should take 5 receivers.
Shut the book. Maybe even another. Would you go Sanders at 15 just to? No.
Sanders at 15.
I think Dawson's right. The offense,
Sanders.
you can't do any more to this offense. The offense is set. You need to start to load up this defensive side of the ball now, don't you?
And Raheem Morris, defensive background, head coach. So I would be stunned if they didn't go defense with the first 2 picks in this draft. Matt Judon, who I mentioned in that trade, he's a free agent, hasn't re-signed with the Falcons. So I mentioned the 2025 3rd-round pick, which Hawley's Patriots have got. David Onyemata at nose tackle. He's 32 now, fellas, coming into his 10th season. Leonard Floyd, who they got from the 49ers 1-year deal, 32 as well. So you expect that's another 1-year signing. They did get in Divine Diablo from Vegas at linebacker and free agency. Caden Ellis is a nice linebacker. He probably had his best season, but he's not a Pro Bowl linebacker. And then you've got Jesse Bates at safety and AJ Terrell at corner, who's not the worst. But outside of that, their defense is really lean, and they got to address the defensive line. They cannot be last in sacks in the league again next season.
No, you're spot on, Dos. I know we ribbed you about it, but that's only because you were correct. We'll see where they go. And the Judon trade, I really thought that would work. I liked that when they did it. I think we all liked it, and it just didn't happen.
It made sense, for a team that continually just gives up leads in the last quarter because they just cannot get to the quarterback. They just can't put enough pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And we've seen it multiple times with the Atlanta Falcons, and you can go back to the Matt Ryan era if you want to. It's a historical thing with the Falcons that they need to address, and they got to get it. And it starts with this draft because the offensive side of the ball, as Hawley said, it's set. I don't think we need to top that up anymore.
Now, I must say, as general manager for next week's mock draft, Dos does have Atlanta, so I think we know where he's going. So he's shown his hand a little bit there, but I think that was
I don't think I do.
Yes, you do. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Hawley does. Hawley does. My apologies, Dos.
So I have to take a defensive player.
Trade it out. You can trade it out later today. Trade it to Dos.
I'm the GM, so I'd take whoever I want.
Oh, my gosh.
You can.
I won't ruin the draft.
Murray and Hampton.
Yeah, watch him draft a running back to go with Bijan and Tyler Algier.
The three-headed monster, we'll call it.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Imagine. Puts a little Falcons cap on. Here we go.
I'd be running 55 times a game.
The mayor of the South.
Yeah, Michael Penix would be deemed a success because he'd have a 100% completion for the one pass he makes a game. All right, Hawley, what have you got? What's a desperate
we're
need?
starting with the Titans, fellas. So obviously, quarterback is a big need. We think that would probably go first pick of the draft, Cam Ward. The other need for me is the wide receiver room. So at the moment, they're led by a 30-year-old Calvin Ridley. And last year, he was actually okay. He ticked over 1,000 yards just. He only had the 4 TDs, but their QB room last year was a little bit shaky.
He's also, I think, the 13th highest wide receiver in the league, paid-wise. So
yes, there you go.
The 1,000 yards, you need more than that for that.
Absolutely. Their wide receiver 2 at the moment is Treylon Burks. He hasn't quite worked out the way that they were hoping.
For those who've forgotten,
trading AJ Brown to get Treylon Burks.
We just need to remind people that's how they got him.
He's one that could easily be just gone at the end of the year. So you could have got rid of him last year, Dos. In all honesty,
well, there's just no market for Treylon Burks.
Exactly right. Chig Okonkwo at tight end. Now, the jury is out on him a little. He has shown glimpses.
Yeah, the jury's out for lunch because they made the decision that he sucks a long time ago.
He's shown a few glimpses.
Shade on
he's shown a few glimpses last year, Kurt. Okay, he's a tight end. I think he's coming into his 4th year now, so these tight ends do usually take a little while to develop. However, there isn't much there in terms of the wide receivers, tight end. There's nothing for what we're thinking is going to be Cam Ward.
And Hawley, let's be honest, their main deep threat, Nick Westbrook-Akine, is no longer on the roster.
He finally produces and they flick him. What are they doing?
Now, the thing for me is how often have we seen a young quarterback struggle to find an open receiver, okay? They need a receiver who can create separation. Bryce Young, some of his stats are actually okay, but he just doesn't have a receiver to throw to. Drake May, again, we can all agree. I think that he's looking okay.
Yep.
But again, no receiver to throw to. Our best rookie quarterbacks last year, Jaden Daniels. So he's got Scary Terry, who...
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dos. He's a good receiver.
Top 5 receiver in the NFL.
Contested catch, at least. Zach Ertz, a proven tight end in the league. Back end of his career, but he's there. He's done it before. He's a good target for Jaden Daniels. 2 real solid options for a rookie. Caleb Williams, now, his O-line let him down a lot last year. But he had options to throw to. He had DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. So he had guys to bail him out if he needed to. If he didn't have those guys, then I feel like we'd be talking about Caleb as a genuine bust because he's going to get sacked and he's got nothing to throw to. We can see JJ McCarthy now is going to walk into a room that's filled with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. Those guys are going to make sure that JJ McCarthy has a good year, because it's going to be very difficult for him just to fail with those guys around him. So now if we throw Cam Ward into a Tennessee Titans team with a 30-year-old Calvin Ridley, a Treylon Burks, and a tight end that Kurt has said is already washed up, how much of a chance does he actually have of being successful?
It's a fair point. I mean, the O-line could use some help as well. I'm not sure they...
Well, they addressed it they spent on it and addressed it in free agency, Kurt, and we spoke about that.
Yeah.
And last season, in the last 2 drafts with Skoronski at guard and Latham, who they took, and then Dan Moore in at tackle, Cushenberry last year in free agency, just they've spent and invested on the O-line.
Does it work? Has it worked? Are you trusting Dan Moore? Are you trusting JC Latham after that rookie year? I mean, yes, they have made some steps. They've made some steps, but they haven't knocked it out of the park yet. So
the line is better than what it was 12 months ago.
Certainly
I will
true.
give them that.
I agree.
Now, I think because the Titans have got their first and their second round pick, which is 35. The third round pick was part of the L'Jarius Sneed trade that the Chiefs and that hasn't worked out for them at all so far. Luther Burden looks like an option, Hawley, I think, around that early second round for the Tennessee Titans.
He's probably the one that will be available. There are a couple of other guys. It obviously depends what happens in the first round. If there is a guy they really like, they could trade into the first round. I know Trey Harris, Mika Egbuka are very good receivers.
Sorry, do you think Burden's still going to be there early second? I think he might go first.
No, I think he'll be there early second. Oh, he might be late first.
He's an interesting one. I reckon some really rate him.
Yeah.
Because he might go around Ibuka. They both play that slot role.
Yeah.
I think it's horses for courses.
It just depends who.
If anyone trades up, yes, they will take him. If there's no bottom end sort of movement around the Eagles, Chiefs, Bills,
reckon he drops.
I think he'll in early
and
second round.
that's I think what Tennessee will be hoping for. Otherwise, Tennessee can get into that mid-20 range and try to grab a decent weapon for Cam.
Well, they might do that Carolina swap up by pick like they did last year to get Leggett. Interesting. I like it, Hawley. I mean, surprise, surprise, you went for a wide receiver, but it wasn't. It
Well,
made
you guys
sense.
went O-lines and edges and whatever else. I better keep the listeners interested.
All right, well, tune out now, guys, because I'm talking about the Miami offensive line again. Now, I know I mentioned it last week. I mentioned the roster generally. I also talked about the O-line. But just to dig ever so slightly deeper into the reasons why Tua needs more protection, we know Teron Armstead, their very good left tackle, is gone to retirement, and we know the history with Tua's concussion. But they did try to address it, Dos, the tackle position, as a succession plan for Armstead last year. They drafted Patrick Paul in the second round, and he played about a fifth of a season when he was deputising for Armstead in a couple of capacities, played a little bit of right tackle, a little bit more left tackle, and that's where they think he's going to slot in. But he really struggled last year. His blocking efficiency was around that 95 and a half mark, percentage-wise. And whilst that sounds good, I've said it a few times, that's not a good number for a tackle. You want to be blocking at high 97s, low 98s. And the difference between someone blocking successfully 95% of the time versus 98% of the time is huge. That's a game-changing difference between good and bad tackles. So he only had 3 starts, and to put it in context with fellow rookies, he had about the same efficiency rate as DJ Glaze for the Raiders, who really struggled, JC Latham of the Titans, who had some glimpses but overall did struggle, especially early, and Tyler Guyton, who was similar, had some good but a lot of bad in there as well. So they all struggled. They brought in James Daniels at guard, and I do need to correct. I said he was overpaid last week. I think that was probably a bit harsh. I probably had Dan Moore on the brain when I was thinking about the Titans. He's only $24 million over 3 years, but that does make him the 13th highest paid guard in the league, Dos, which for a guy who has just been average over his career, he's 27 now. He started like a house on fire last year, but then tore his Achilles, so he's coming off of that. Yep. I still think it is maybe overs, but not to the extent that I said last year. But that's a risk, right? They're taking a big swing on a guy who missed most of last year with an Achilles, a significant injury, and before that had only been an average guard.
And Austin Jackson, right tackle, missed 9 games as well due to injuries last season. Armstead, you mentioned Armstead's a big one because
now you're relying on Paul at left tackle, and that's a complete unknown at this stage.
Well, I'll just give you some stats on Tua and how he performs with Teron Armstead on the field. So with Armstead on the field, the last 3 seasons averaged 8.3 yards per pass attempt, touchdown rate at 5.6%, a sack rate of 4.6, and a passer rating of 106.8. When Armstead
with Armstead.
Yeah,
Armstead.
With him on the field. With Armstead off the field, Hawley, his passer rating drops from 106.8 to 92.7. His sack rate goes up from 4.6% to 6.5%, and he averages 7.7 yards per attempt, so about a yard down there. So it's a big step up for Paul. Aaron Brewer is really probably the only consistent piece at center. Eichenberg, I'm not overly wrapped up at left guard. We'll see how he goes. And then they lost their other swing tackle, Kendall Lamb, in free agency as well, Kurt. So,
well, Brewer was the positive, like you mentioned, at center. He actually had a really good year. He got votes a couple of times in our MVP award. So you can tick him as a solid, as a very good piece in there. But it's not just the passing game, it's the running game as well that they need to think about and how much dynamism that lost last year. But I went through the PFF mock draft simulator, and when I got to pick 13, Will Campbell was obviously gone, the tackle out of LSU, so we can cross him off, and Membu was gone as well. And I know he's a versatile guy. He's one that you really like, Dos. He went at pick 12, and the Dolphins have pick 13, so he could possibly be there in the real world at pick 13. Yeah. But then it goes out to Kelvin Banks or Josh Simmons, who's from Ohio State. He's a pure tackle. Banks maybe could flip between guard and tackle. He's a bit more versatile. So I think some people would consider that a reach because they're probably between 20 and 28 on the big board. But if you're there at 13 and that's your dire need, if you like one of those guys, you got to get them. I think they end up with Banks or Simmons if Membu's already gone.
I agree, 100%. A lot of mocks have got them going defense, D-line as well with the Dolphins. I really think they should address the O-line to me.
I think they need some help on the interior defensively, but I'd go O-line. Anyway, we'll see. If there's a star still there on the interior, if there's by some miracle a Mason Graham, you take him, but he won't be there. Anyway, what's your next one, Dos?
My next one, we're going to talk O-line again. I'm going to quit this one.
Oh, no. Holy, you still with us?
Hey.
The Houston Texans. We haven't spoken a lot about the Texans.
No,
either.
And they got rid of Tunsil, and now it's chaos.
Well, that was really the only thing we mentioned about the Texans because there wasn't much else going on. But they got picks 25, 58, 79, and 89. So 4 in the first 3 rounds, which is a nice, or 4 in the first 100, which is nice to have.
Update, Hawley just yawned.
They fired Hawley's boy, offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, and the offensive line looked horrible all
one of my
season.
favourite offensive coordinators all year.
allowed a third worst. Well, you know this.
You know his name, mate. You've heard of him?
Allowed 54 sacks last season, Hawley. Third worst. CJ Stroud running for his life. You rattled off a couple of times during the season. Pressure rate on CJ Stroud.
Yep.
Nick Cayley comes across as a new OC from the Rams under the Sean McVay coaching tree. Left tackle Laramie Tunsil is out the door, and also former first round guard Kenyon Green was traded, and they cut.
That's a positive.
And they cut Shaq Mason as well, or released him.
Yep.
So GM Nick Caserio has, well, what has he got? He's got Titus Howard and Blake Fisher. And then he's got a couple of new acquisitions that they got in free agency. Cam Robinson, from Minnesota, long time with Jacksonville.
Yep.
And then left guard Laken Tomlinson, 33-year-old, who they picked up.
Ex-Jet?
Yeah, ex-Jet, and Seattle last season as well.
Yeah.
I'm not. And then you've got Ed Ingram, who's a 4th-year right guard out of Minnesota.
I don't like this line,
who
boss.
may or may not be behind Juice Scruggs.
Scruggsy!
Who is not good.
Great name, bad output.
Yeah. So, look. I'm thinking it's
Juice Scruggs.
You got the 2 boys out of Ohio State who you mentioned before, Josh Simmons, who's a great fit, or they may look more to the interior to guard at Donovan Jackson. And they may look to address wide receiver here because of Stephon Diggs going out. Tank Dell's injury, I don't think he's unlikely to play at all next season. They did get the exiled Christian Kirk from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But outside of Nico Collins, there's not a lot of depth there either. But I just would be stunned if they didn't go offensive line.
Is it looking a bit slim, Houston, next year?
In those 2 spots. And it's funny, you go on
the
the mock draft simulator on PFF, and what they've done over the years is they used to list 3 positional needs for each team, and now they do it either, have 5 if they've got 5 needs, and they never used to do that, but they'll show it if there's a team that just has a plethora of needs. But they also go the other way. And if you've only got 2 really clear needs, they just list 2. And that's all they've put for Houston.
Yeah.
The O-line and wide receiver. They're saying just take those positions in the first 4 rounds.
They're important positions.
They are.
Well. O-line is huge.
very thin.
We saw what happened with CJ last year with all the pressure. And then a lack of decent receivers makes it even more difficult.
And it sucks for them because the Diggs thing was unfortunate. The Tank Dell thing's even more unfortunate because that's an injury that I'm still not sure he's going to properly come back.
That's a car
from.
crash injury. That's a horrible injury.
As in literally as though he's had a
broken
car accident.
leg
it's
and
shocking.
Both all ligaments in the knee shot.
Like, I mean, Stroud was in tears when he saw it in person. So it sucks because he was such an exciting player, and I'm not sure how he recovers. But from a position of strength to a real weakness at wide receiver. What do you reckon they do? Who do they take? Actually, maybe don't give it away for next week. We've got our mock draft.
I don't have Houston actually, but
I have Houston. Who should they take, Doss?
Josh Simmons at tackle or Donovan Jackson at guard. I think would be 2 options that you would look at for Houston. So they got a bit of work to do because their defense is set. I like their defense.
Yep,
they got some rough riders in there
in
Houston. And D'Amico Ryans has got them really dialed in. It's just the offensive side of the ball. They just got to get some help for CJ Stroud and some protection.
And they did well with the draft with those secondary guys like Kamari Lassiter was a steal last year. A couple of guys they've really unearthed.
They've drafted well on defense. Well, they've drafted well on offense, just not the offensive line, unfortunately.
Holy, who have you got? Let me guess. Is it offense?
It's the offense.
Yes, we're back.
We're back, fellas. Chargers. They need some offensive help.
Yep. Yes.
Now I'm rolling with the tight end here, Doss. Their defense allowed the fewest points per game last year, but their offense obviously couldn't keep up. And as the old saying goes, defense wins championships. But when your offense has absolutely nothing about it, it just doesn't matter. I
haven't heard that saying before.
Yeah. There you go. Well, they're going to wait. They've got this defense at the moment, and they're going to waste it. Basically, that's what's happening. Now, they drafted Ladd McConkey last year, and after I called him a boring receiver, he went out and went for about 100 yards a game from then on in the season.
Shut you up. Yep.
Didn't he ever? Herbert is a very, very good quarterback. We've seen that, but he needs some other tools. Now, they did go and grab Mike Williams.
Top 5 quarterback.
I didn't say anything.
No, but you rolled your eyes and gave that look.
Hey,
catch that on YouTube.
I didn't roll my eyes.
Yes, you did. Make sure you better edit.
He can be a very, very good. There are a lot of very, very good quarterbacks in the league.
Herbert is a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, we'll keep talking about what they need anyway. Now, Mike Williams, Curtis, he's back. A healthy Mike Williams is a fantastic addition, but Mike Williams has caught he's had 40 catches in the last 3 years.
Yeah, well, ACL will do that.
Yeah, so we're not seeing the Mike Williams that we saw 4 or 5 years ago. So whatever he can offer this year, I think is just a bonus. He's just a guy that's there. He can't be relied on for production. He needs to be a guy that says, hey, oh, look at that. We got 100 yards out of Mike today. Yep. What a bonus. Beautiful. Now,
that's sort of how we assess your podcast output as well.
Yeah, if we get a little bit out of me, then hey, cool, bonus.
Hey, he was listening today. It was awesome.
Didn't talk about offensive lines all night. Now, pick 22, it's probably a little bit late to go after a Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland, so they will need to. I think they're both going top 20.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I think Loveland's
the one that could fall. Tyler Warren will be gone.
Are you taking Harold Fannin in the first round?
I'm not. I'm asking the Chargers to trade up and find one of these guys.
Okay.
I think they need. I don't think they can trade as high as a top 10, top 12 pick to get Tyler Warren. But if they can get to a 15, 16, 17, I think Colston will hopefully be available still.
Could they go a Matthew Golden at wide receiver, Hawley?
That's the other thing. They could load up at wide receiver. That at 22, you're grabbing a decent wide receiver and then look at a tight end later in the draft.
Yep.
That's an absolutely great option.
Yes, but I think Golden, who's Doss's boy, might be gone by 22. And then I think that the two wide receivers that are there, Ibuka, Burden, they're slot guys. You got McConkey. I just think it doesn't fit. You need a different type of receiver.
I want them to have a big guy. I need them to have a big guy. And that's why I think I'm liking a tight end because you've got your little McConkey running around. You got Mike doing his
little McConkey.
He's a star.
You've got Mike doing his thing if he can do his thing. Then you got this big tight end. You bail out this young rookie. We saw it happen with Brock Bowers. I mean, we're not looking at a Brock Bowers. I think that's pretty difficult to come by.
Yep.
But if they can find their way into a Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland to help out, then their offense starts to get moving a little bit. And it is a strong running back draft. They can look at a running back in round 3 or round 4 and try to upgrade that offense through a decent running back as well. So.
Judkins in round 2, Hawley at pick 55?
Well, it depends if they can grab a tight end in round 1 and keep that pick 55, then take a running back, absolutely. Whereas if they have to, if they're moving more at wide receiver in their first round or in the first pick, then maybe a tight end goes round 2. But
they got their full draft hand, the Chargers, and they got some compensation picks, but they've actually got 4 6th-round picks at the moment. So they may look to consolidate a couple of those and move up into a 4th or 5th round if they can.
Don't mind it.
The LA Chargers.
Who has the Chargers? Do I have the Chargers? Oh, no, I traded them.
Yeah, you traded them to me, which I'm surprised because you've predicted an offensive pick. So let's see. I'm looking forward to that pick now.
If they stay at 22, they're not taking who I want them to take.
See, I actually thought it was a boring pick. I was a bit flat getting it last week, but now...
it's a nice pick.
Yeah, nice pick. I'm going with Las Vegas in their cornerback room. Now, I think that's actually maybe the weakest positional group in the entire NFL. Their main starter was 27-year-old Jack Jones, and they released him. He was their main guy, and they released him. They tried to trade him. Nobody wanted him. They released him. So he's out. They brought in Eric Stokes, who's Hawley's boy. Remember a couple of years ago, famously he predicted he would have the most
interception leader of the NFL.
Didn't grab one.
Well, he had a good rookie year in Green Bay, and then unfortunately
But that's
injuries.
a few years ago now.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
So he's their number 1 at the moment, Eric Stokes. Their other guys hardly played at all, and if they did, it wasn't that great. Jeanty Holmes, Ja'Cory and Bennett, DeCamary and Richardson.
Do you like their names in this cornerback group? I do. Have you seen Q Blue Kelly as well?
Q Blue?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't get that deep.
MJ Devonshire.
There's
This is positional group names.
Oh yeah. Well, I just said DeCamarian and Ja'Cory in the same group, and led by a guy called Eric
with Darnay.
Yeah. So there's Jane. I had a Jane.
Was it Jane?
Yeah, I believe it's Jane. We can check that. But there's nothing there outside of the great names. There's nothing there, and the problem is pick 6 too early to go Jahdae Barron because he's the standout corner outside of
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson, yeah. And Barron's a bit of a late bloomer. I mean, he was the 6th or 7th cornerback on boards a few months ago, and now he's risen. He's done a little bit of a Jackson Dart at the cornerback position. So, what do you do there? Because Travis Hunter will be gone.
Trade back.
I
don't think. But then I don't think a lot of mocks have him taking Jeanty, right?
Yes,
that's the
other thing.
Pretty much 90%.
I don't know if Vegas need a running back at the moment. If I'm if I'm a team that wants to compete, then maybe I can grab a young running back, hold on to him for a couple of years. You don't pay him much.
And then you're saying they're not ready for a star running back.
Yeah, I don't think they need a star running back at the moment. And because there is a deep group, like you said, cornerbacks, if they're that thin at cornerback, then trade pick 6 back, grab a mid-first rounder and another second rounder and go cornerback, and then you've got your 2 guys.
But some have Barron going at 8 or 9, and if they're picking at 6 and they desperately need it, do you risk trading back and missing him, or do they like Will Johnson more? Where does Johnson go? Like Barron was great last year. He only allowed a passer rating of 34 in college, allowed no touchdowns. He had 5 interceptions, so he was fantastic. Johnson missed a lot of the year with injury, but every time he plays, he's been really good, and his production is very consistent. So they're 2 of the names. Or I think there's actually a better option maybe to hold off till round 2, because you do have a good batch of corners there. There's Trey Amos, there's Maxwell Hairston, Benjamin Morrison, Siobhan Revel. So there are some names in round 2 that could fill the need as well. But it's an interesting one. I really don't know what they do. Everyone likes the sexy pick of Jeanty, but whether they address the defense, I'm not sure. Is that where you think Jeanty goes?
Do they go up and
to
take Travis Hunter?
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be aggressive. I would like to see that.
I don't think it's a bad move. If Travis Hunter is a very, very good cornerback, is a very, very good wide receiver. If you can use him both ways, then he is the most valuable asset in the NFL.
It's such a big if, though. And do you mortgage the future for that when you could get quality at 6? You really could.
I don't hate it, but
it depends how high you have to go. If you're feeling that Cleveland are taking him and you have to go to 2, you're giving up a lot. If he's fallen back to 3 in New York Giants, then it starts to...
Like, to do that, they're going to have to give up next year's first to do that. And, like, I'm not sure that the Raiders will be... When you can get a run... If they choose not to get Jeanty, I think they will. But if they choose not to, for whatever reason, and they go... I don't even know if they'd go a corner at 6. They could go Tet McMillan if he's there.
I feel like they're a little bit in between. Pick 6 is a bit in between of where... they need to be.
They're a team with a lot of needs.
Pick 8 and 9 is probably better for them because they're like, okay, this is the guy we're taking, done. But pick 6, we're not reaching for an 8, 9, or 10 rated player.
Well, let me put it this way, and similar to what Dos said before, I won't fire the whole scouting department, but I will be very, very concerned if the Raiders do not take a cornerback in the first 2 rounds. Very concerned. We'll leave it at that. That's the desperate draft needs. We've got Dos's trivia coming right up.
Ooh.
All right, boys. Just need a squint. Haven't got my glasses on. Small
You got your contact lenses? No, none of them in.
No, I don't. I got to look cool. Got to look cool for the show. Is this Dos's trivia?
This is
Dos's trivia. All right. What have you got, Dos? You said on the text that Hawley would froth this one.
I think so.
You even spelt it with 3 Fs. Froth.
Yeah.
That's how enthusiastic you thought he would
Hawley
be.
be all over this one because it's a running back.
Oh.
And it's draft related.
Okay.
So, 14 running backs have been taken in the first round since 2015. Give me those 14 running backs.
All right. Gibson, Robinson, Curtis.
Yeah, last year.
I'm gonna write these down because
I'm gonna mark them off in green. Yep, they're the 2 from last year. Bijan pick 8, Jimmy Gibbs is pick 12.
Our bust, Trent Richardson.
No, he was 2013. You said since 2015, right?
Since 2015.
Reggie Bush, or was he too early?
That's
that's 2012.
early.
It's 2012.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's.
How about we
Let's
stick
work
with
through
2021, 20, and 2019 before you start going back to
Brees Hall?
No, he was second round.
Was he really?
Yeah, it was the first pick of the second round, wasn't it?
Yep.
Where did Najee Harris go?
First round.
Yeah.
Yep. Good one.
2021, he was pick 24, Najee Harris to the Steelers.
Where was Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry was a second round pick.
Rats. This is going to be harder than it seems on the surface. A lot harder.
Because the last,
Because everyone you think is a star, they weren't really. Barkley. Let's go Barkley.
Yep, Saquon.
Zeke Elliott.
Yep. Saquon was 2018 pick 2. Zeke Elliott was pick 4 to the Cowboys in 2016.
Who's our boy that was the best thing since sliced bread? And then was no good. Retired early.
Come on.
Rams.
Yep.
What's
Say his name.
I can't remember his name.
TG.
I can't remember it.
Kurt knows it. He's just waiting for you to simmer on it.
I just want that to come back to his brain.
I can't.
Come on.
I can't get it.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley. Pick 10 of the Rams in 2015.
There we go.
Best thing since sliced bread. That's most running backs who.
He was very
excellent.
good.
He was so good, man.
It's such a shame.
In the NFL. He had amazing NFL season.
Yeah.
And then was it degenerative knee that screwed him? Or was it just RB currency?
I think there's a bit of that too. And he banged up. A lot of work. Had a massive workload.
Was JT first rounder?
No, he wasn't. Because he was in one of their My Boy segments. I had him.
Yes.
That's right, he was.
Yes.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yes, well done. Pick 32 to the Chiefs in 2020.
Yep. Who else?
You got 7 left. You're halfway, fellas. You're doing well.
Okay, that's good. This is tough. We've been to the Lions ones. We've been to
Seahawks
the Giants.
take any first rounders?
Yes, they have in 2018. Kurt will get it. One of his old boys. One of his fantasy. It was primed to take him in fantasy, then got burnt. You called him for a big year when he was traded.
When he was traded?
I think so.
He was traded to
He was either traded or he was just had more opportunity.
Oh, okay. Where did he go?
He's played for your Chiefs.
Played for my Chiefs. Oh, okay, I really should get this now. I can just... All I'm thinking of is Chris Carson.
No.
He wasn't a first rounder. Seahawks running back.
Oh, sorry. No, he did not play for your Chiefs.
Okay.
I apologise. I thought he did.
Where did he go?
I thought he was there.
Oh, wait. Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny.
Was he a first rounder?
He was.
Gee whiz. Okay.
Pick 27 of the Seahawks. Was he on the Chiefs practice squad or something?
It doesn't ring a bell.
No.
You might be right.
You know he was in Philly. I know he finished off in the Eagles, and then that was it. Anyway, well done.
Is there a Chicago Bear in like the mid-teens?
Nah.
No, there's not. Okay.
There's 2 Jags.
ETN.
Yep. Pick 25 in 2021.
Yeah.
Another Jag.
2017.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh
That's
Jacobs.
not Jags,
No, but he is. Yep. Raiders pick 24 in 2019.
That's a good one.
Who's the other Jag?
Who's the other?
What? How early did he go?
Pick 4.
Yeah.
He was there for a year after Zeke. Has a common nickname. Well, not a common nickname. He has a nickname for showing up at the right time.
Big game.
Lenny.
Lenny
Lenny.
Fournette. Playoff Lenny.
Playoff Lenny.
Yeah, good. Well done, Hawley. That's great.
Jags,
That's
27.
great.
You got 3 left.
Okay. This is good.
What picks were they, Dos?
Your Patriots pick 31, Hawley. Come on.
What year?
What, recently?
2018.
Was that Ramondre?
No.
Nah.
No.
He was like a 5th round.
CMC.
Yep.
Of
Never
course,
got Christian.
Panthers, 2017, pick 8. You got 2 left.
And we are not cheating, by the way.
No,
we are
you're not.
legitimately
No, you're
not
not.
cheating.
Pats.
These would be the
Pats
2
take?
hardest one or harder ones to get.
Sorry, so Pats 2018, pick
Pats
31.
2018 and Chargers 2015, pick 15.
Chargers.
That's outside my Overton window, that one. Chargers. Did he have a good career or not? Bounce around?
He.
What does first name start with?
No, I'm not
Hang
going
on.
to tell you
Yeah.
that.
Not yet. What teams did this Chargers guy go to?
He Chargers, then Denver, then Ravens. You'll get it now.
Denver.
2
then
Pro
Ravens.
2 Pro Bowls with the Chargers. He had a couple of okay years with the Chargers. Hyphen.
Yeah.
Hyphen.
Oh, hyphen.
Hyphenated last name.
They-
No. Hold on. Sorry. Not hyphenated. I got excited.
Is this the dude that the Chargers called him a clown on their when he went back to play against the Chargers? They called him a clown on the screen. I'm not thinking of Marlon Mack. There's another guy I'm thinking of. This is gonna kill me.
I said hyphenated because I always refer to him as the third.
This is really gonna hurt me. Can you give us a first initial?
M.
Yeah, I knew it was an M.
It's right there. I know you know it.
Yeah, not a Marlon something.
Melvin.
Melvin Gordon. Ah!
Was he a first rounder?
Yeah,
He was the Chargers. He had a
MG3.
couple of good years with the Chargers.
Oh, it was Melvin Gordon. They mocked him on the big screen and he did an interview about how it hurt his feelings. And fair enough. Like, he gave them service for years and they put a clown emoji up when he rocks up. What's the last one? Patriots.
Patriots 2018. Come on, Wally.
James White, Sonny Michel.
Sonny Michel.
Yes!
Sonny.
Well done. High five.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Well done, fellas.
I'm proud of that.
Did well.
Let's do a wide receiver one next week, then the quarterback one.
Because wide receivers too many. I have to do
Quarterbacks would be a lot.
I have to do top 10 or top 5 or top 10 for wide receivers, I think.
I'm amazed that we actually got all of those.
Top 4. Yeah, you flew through them. Did well.
Thanks, Dos. Good job.
Well done.
Alrighty. Mock draft. I mean, we've said it a billion times this next week. This is a final chance. Final chance to do any trades. Now, I'll run through the teams very, very quickly. Holy, Tennessee, New England, New Orleans, Miami, Atlanta, Cincy, Tampa Bay, Denver, Pittsburgh, Green Bay. And last week you acquired 4 of those. You were a big mover. You acquired the Pats, the Bengals, the Bucks, and the Broncos. I won't read out all the teams. I made that mistake last week and did it again just then. But I acquired the Giants, the Jets, the Chargers, and KC. And Dos did not move at all last week. Refused. Done his research, he said, 3 weeks out.
Incorrect.
Hey?
I offered Cowboys and Baltimore for, I think, Hawley's Jets.
12 and 27 for...
And he didn't want it for 7.
You turned down a crazy trade last week. I think you were offered something like the Jets and Pittsburgh for Las Vegas, and you said no. It was something like that. And I 100%.
So would you take the Saints and your Packers, Dos? 9 and 23, and give me the Panthers. It's just one spot.
So Dos moves down from 8 Carolina
pick,
to New Orleans and gets his Packers.
See, Hawley's got the Saints. He's under a bit of pressure with the Saints.
No one's touching the Saints.
Yeah,
Saints
that's a tricky pick.
I don't want to give it away.
Sorry, Saints fans. It's just not an exciting pick to me.
Well, it's a tricky one.
It is tricky. There is, yeah.
Jets,
Jack Grant and co are watching closely.
The Jets is as well.
Yeah, I opted into the Jets.
And I got the Bears, and I've gone back and forth on the Bears a fair bit too. It'll depend a bit on what you.
Do you want to move the
do
Bears?
above.
I'll be excited.
No, I like the Bears. It's a tough pick. I've got about 5 players.
Okay.
With the Bears.
Is there anything you want to offload, Dos? Now that you've had another week to look at it, anything that you go, I'm not really keen.
Done your research and don't enjoy the pick.
Well, Kirk, I'll give you the Vikings. No,
I've got the Vikings.
Yeah, sorry, damn. Yeah, I was looking to get my Packers, and I was going to do a swap with.
Oh yeah, you want the Packers? You say?
Yeah. Hawley's
Well, I
got the
can't do
Packers
it.
at 23,
Hawley's got
but
them, yeah.
he won't move back.
No, he won't move. He won't move back.
I'm a winner, Dos. I don't move backwards, mate.
All right. Well, in an absence of it, this is the last chance. Last
27
the bar.
for 23, Hawley. Just humour me. You can have the Ravens. Ravens, good team.
Not interested in the Ravens.
Give him Seattle, Dos.
Wait, which teams are going defense? Titans, no. Pats, that's easy picks. Saints, no. Dolphins.
They need O-line.
O-line.
That's boring for you.
That's boring.
He wants to trade out now.
Mm.
You want the Dolphins, Dos?
I'll go Dos. Give me 12 Cowboys. And I'll give you the Dolphins and your Packers.
Do I want the Dolphins at...
You love an O-line pick.
So you get rid of another... so you how many teams you
I don't really want you to tap out that early.
Because he's going to have...
It's going to be very...
And he's going to have about 9 teams. Or 8 teams.
He's going to pick like 8 out of 9 and then not do anything. Yeah, and he's got hardly anything too.
Yeah, I'd have.
Can I veto that as the commissioner?
I'd have 9 teams and I'd be done at pick 21.
Right, don't accept that, Dos.
No.
I'm actually on your side now.
No.
All right.
Come on. I think you 23 for 27's fair, Hawley.
Well, if we're not going to get a pick done, if we're not going to get a trade done, let's review last year's mock draft because this is the 3rd time we've done the exercise. And Dos, you probably remember or have recently reviewed who you took. Are you happy with your mock draft last year?
I think I was by memory. I had a bit of a look on our Instagram only out of curiosity before you put it on the run sheet a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
And I went through and looking through quite a few of our picks. I was like, oh, we went okay.
I think as a collective, we went fairly well. And just a final reminder, we don't do this as a prediction exercise. We do it as a general manager exercise.
Back end got a little rough. I think Hawley took A.D. Mitchell in the first round.
Well, I wouldn't be casting too many shots at Hawley because there are a couple of yours you may regret.
Johnny Newton's up there. Had a great season.
What are you talking about? He did not have a great season. He had 2 sacks in 19 games.
And won that game for Washington.
He had one good game and
big
did nothing
stop
else.
too. It was a big stop. That was the Bears on the goal line,
Please.
which ended up in the Jaden Daniels Hail Mary.
Like one good
You're
game out of
welcome.
19.
First round pick, 2 sacks in the year.
I'm not writing home about that. Well, what I've done, boys.
Oh, he's held up by John
pick
Allen
was
and
he?
Deron Payne.
What pick was he, Dos?
It was taken in the second round.
No,
Was he?
what pick did you pick him up with?
Cincinnati, I took him with. I think was it
Yeah, pick
Cincinnati?
18. Yep.
Yeah,
18.
Yep.
Jeez, top 20 pick.
So what I've done, boys, is I've very quickly
He's handy.
and arbitrarily gone through every pick and assigned a points value to it for how I think we went. Right?
Oh, just
Can we have an
your-
injury clause? Because
yeah, you can have
JJ's
it.
not gonna
The
receive a
injury
point,
clause is
right?
that you get a 0.
Yeah, but you picked him to the right team.
Yeah, but he didn't play.
Yeah, but it's not a
he's saying
prediction
how
exercise.
well these guys play.
How well it went.
all right, that doesn't count. That's just an NA then.
Yeah.
If they didn't play.
Oh, so do you want to take it out of the assessment then? So we
well,
don't.
there's no point in being assessed if he's out for the season.
All right. Well,
anyway.
I've given him a 0, but I'll take your picks down from 11 to 10.
And it would turn it into an average.
Yeah. I've done it on an average, so that bumps your
I'm
average.
happy with
Are you
that.
happy with that?
I'm
I
happy
mean,
with that.
you should be because you've gotten off scot-free there for a guy who's not done a thing.
Oh, he got injured.
well,
Yeah. Well, bad drafting.
he would have
Pick a guy
played.
with some
He was
strength.
going to play.
They probably would have. They would have won a playoff game
No.
with JJ.
Oh, there we go.
They wouldn't have been in the position.
National
I don't
champion
know.
Wolverine.
Jefferson,
Kirk.
Addison.
All right. Well, it works in your
All
favor.
right,
so
anyway,
we're taking
let's
that.
keep going.
Anyway, so before I get to the points, let's run through who we took.
Do you think that
Here we go.
because he's assigned this own little point system,
He
he gave
wins.
us no word?
He wins.
Do you think he might win this?
No, he wins.
Well, let's do it on a
I
case
think
by
our
case
gracious
basis.
host might win this because it's been a while. Win
Gracious
draft,
host.
my boy segment.
I think I might win it, Dos, because you had a really bad draft.
Oh,
well,
whoa!
all right,
Let's go through
go
it.
ahead.
I took Caleb Williams at 1.
Oh, well
Chicago.
done, champion.
So-
Well,
We didn't play that well.
Oh, but
he was
do you want to hear the point system?
he was solid.
The point system. So
Well
yeah,
done.
he was solid. I agree, he was solid.
champion.
Yeah.
most sacks
This
in
guy.
most sacks in the season.
See,
Go ahead.
it's interesting that I've criticised Doss's draft, and all of a sudden he's on the absolute attack. He's so offended that he started to patronise me from pick
I
1.
am.
So the point system I've come up with, look at him go. Point system is if you nailed it, 2 points. If they were okay, 1 point. If they did play a fair bit but they were pretty rubbish, you get half a point. And if they were completely out, so they didn't play, or they were awful, 0.
Yeah, okay.
That's where we've gone. So
So
2,
you get 0
1.
then for McCarthy.
Yeah, but we've taken him out of the average.
I've changed my mind. You get 0.
Yeah, see, you went too early with that. All right, let's go.
Oh, whatever.
Chicago, Caleb Williams, I thought 1. He was okay, right?
5-12 record, most sacked quarterback.
Well, he played
for
a
the
whole season and he was.
Yeah,
he was
I'd give him 1. His back half of the season, he was very turnover friendly.
Now,
in terms
Dos-
of no turnovers.
Dos,
Yeah,
this-
well, it's all right when you're throwing the ball away out of bounds.
well, I mean, I'm not surprised you're defensive because this is when your errors start. Because with pick 2 to Washington, you didn't take Jaden Daniels, you took Drake May.
But Drake May had a good year still.
Yeah.
He was okay.
So how do
he
you
was
rate that?
He was fine. I've given him a 1 compared to Jaden Daniels 2. I mean, if Daniels
Yeah,
getting a
that's
2,
Well,
fair.
that's fine. I got
That's
no
fair.
problem with that.
so I took Jaden Daniels at New England pick 3. So that's a good pick. No arguments there.
No, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was so surprised to look back and realize you didn't take Daniels because you've been obviously pumping him up and raving him.
I was
We were
very
worried
bullish
about him.
on. Yeah, I was. The only thing that worried me about Daniels was his size, and I liked the fit of Drake May better in Washington pre-draft.
Yeah, but then you were pumping up Daniels preseason and you
Yes,
got it
I
right.
was.
So
Yeah.
I was very surprised. Hawley pick 4, you took Marvin Harrison. I gave that a 1 because it was okay.
Yep.
He was fine.
I'm happy with that.
Pick 5 at the Chargers, Dos, you went Malik Neighbors.
Mm.
I gave you a 2. I know he had some injury stuff towards the end of the year, but he was amazing to start with.
Imagine
So
if Justin Herbert was throwing the ball to
I
Malik
know.
Davis.
I know. Sorry, board Hawley or
The Wi-Fi here still sucks, and I've just realised my phone died. That's why I have no Wi-Fi. So now,
I've got full signal, so
Oh, I
yeah,
haven't-
it must
but
be
I
your
haven't-
phone. You've got paint in that connection.
oh no, I just don't have the password for the Wi-Fi here.
Oh,
well,
okay.
that's
It's not saved.
that'll generally do it.
Yeah, I have given it to you. You just haven't saved it.
Yeah, I didn't
you made it
save
sound like I wouldn't give it to you.
Well,
Pick
it
6.
didn't offer it
Pick
again,
6 of
did
the
it?
Giants. I took Rome Adunze. I gave myself a 1 for that. 730 yards, 3 TDs. That's all right, isn't it? He wasn't terrible. Pick 7, Tennessee, Brock Bowers.
Half?
0.75, half a point, I reckon.
0.75? All right.
I
0.75?
don't even go a half.
What was Marvin's stats? Have you got them?
There wasn't a lot of talk about Roma Dunze.
No, all right. I've bumped it
At
down to a
all.
0.75. You're probably right there. Brock Bowers, you took at Tennessee, Hawley, and we scoffed at you at the time, and that is a big 2. You've done very well. Although you fell apart with Dallas Turner, 0.
Shit.
Atlanta, you Just gets a late.
That was the consensus mock, though. Dallas Turner or
Yeah.
Jared Verse to Atlanta.
Well, let's not get started on Jared Verse. He slipped way down the table. We are idiots. He went at
hold on.
He went at 26 in ours.
Oh, yeah, he did.
It's unacceptable from all of us.
Where did he go, actually? 19?
Yeah,
20?
19. Yeah.
The Rams
not that
traded
different, I
up
guess.
to get him as well.
Yeah. Should always listen to the Rams. Pick 9, Chicago. I took Joe Alt. That's a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 10, Dos. You took Ollie Fashanu at the Jets. I gave you a 1 for that.
And he went there too.
He did. Well done. If it was a prediction exercise, you'd get a 2. But it's not.
Well, probably should get an extra half a point or 0.25. I would have
come
thought
on,
Hawley
mate.
for getting that right.
Then at pick 11, Hawley, you took JJ McCarthy with Minnesota. Pick 12, Denver, I took Bo Nix.
Good
Nice pick.
Well
2.
done.
Thank you. Then 13, Dos, you took Talisi Fuaga on the O-line, Las Vegas. I gave you a 1, maybe generous.
No, it's fair. It's a good
Bit
call.
just,
Probably 1.5.
he smiled. It's 1.5, please.
Well, he's burnt in the
If
Saints last
If
season.
Dawson's throwing out a cheeky smile, it means he knows he's getting lucky.
Yeah, see, and so I haven't been overly harsh on you. New Orleans 14, Brian Thomas, Hawley, brilliant pick. That's a 2.
They could use him too.
15, Indianapolis, Dosh, you took Terry and Arnold, and he had a bad year.
Sorry, Dos.
100.
Oh,
Well, do you want to listen to this?
go on.
Ranked 109th out of 116 cornerbacks on PFF.
That's enough.
He allowed 4 TDs,
He'll
had no
build.
interceptions, and a passer
build.
rating of 100.
He'll build. Yeah, he was getting the number 1 receiver every week.
I put that down as rubbish.
Well, you know he won't be getting the
0.
one receiver this year.
Hey,
He won't be getting it this year.
he'll be all right. Second year, he'll be okay.
I gave that a 0. Sorry, mate. 16, Seattle, Jackson Powers Johnson. Myself, that's a 1. He was
Where did
solid.
he went in the second round, didn't he?
Yeah, he did actually. He fell, yeah. But he had an okay year. He was okay with 1. 17, Jacksonville. You took Quinion Mitchell, Dos. Well done.
Yeah.
2 points. But unfortunately, at 18 with Cincinnati, you took Johnny Newton. That's 19 games, 2 sacks, 1.1 pressures per game.
And when he gets all the starting snaps this year in Washington because
Oh, mate, I'll give you an extra point next year, but right now you get a 0.
okay.
Do you want a 0.5 for Johnny? He played a fair bit. I'll give you a 0.5.
It was all right.
I'll bump you up, so that gets you.
Wasn't
to
it? Back end of the season was better, Kurt.
was a
And
bit
he'll
better.
get starting rotation this year.
Tell you who should have taken on that D line. Pick 19, LA Rams, Leatu Latu. That's who I took. 2 points there. Had a great season. Pittsburgh, pick 20.
It's okay. I don't know if it was great.
No? Was he not great?
No, whatever Dos thinks.
All right, I'll bump that down to 1.5 then. Maybe I was a bit generous with myself.
Well, I mean, he's a nice player. I don't know if he lit it up.
No, fair enough. I bumped it down.
Okay.
1.5. Pick 20, Hawley, you took Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell at Pittsburgh. Is that a 1 or a 0.5, Dos?
Well, how did his stats end up?
I don't think he had a heck of a lot.
Not great. I remember a couple of games, deep threat, and then he had some drop passes. I know
Internet.
that.
Don't have internet.
Oh, that's convenient. Of course you don't.
Well, Hawley, I'll read them out for you.
Okay.
And you can let me know what you
How
think.
many games did he play?
He only started 7. He played 17, started 7, 23 receptions on 55 targets.
Ugh, that's worse than I thought.
13.6 yards per reception.
How many yards
Deep
total?
threat, 300.
Okay, that's a 0.5. That's almost a
And
0.
No touchdowns.
I can't believe oh my gosh. Is that a 0?
Where did he go in the draft?
50, was it 50 something?
Jeez, I reached in our mock, didn't I?
He went 52nd, yeah, overall.
Okay, I got to give you a 0 there, man. That sucks.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
I forgive you.
Okay, 21, Miami. Dos, you took JC Latham. I gave you a 0.5 because he did play, but he didn't have a good year for Tennessee. 22, I took Cooper DeJean at Philly.
In our draft.
Cooper.
Late.
Oh, Latham, he did because he went 7, didn't he, overall?
Yeah, 6 to Tennessee.
I took Cooper DeJean at Philly, where he went. But he went in the second round, but ended up having a great year. So that's 2. Troy Faltanu, Hawley, you took. He had 55 snaps all year. That's a 0. You took him at Minnesota. You took Amarius Mims for Dallas. I'll give you a 1 there generously.
A 1?
Yeah,
for
keep moving.
Mims?
Keep moving.
0.5?
What?
He
0.5?
started off very, very well.
Did he?
I mean, Fatanu played 1 game and he was injured for the whole year.
Yeah.
Like,
All right. Well,
Come
I'll
on.
make it a 0.5. Dos, do you remember who you took for Green Bay last year? You like his name. You think he's cool. He's a defensive back.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 1. I'll
Okay.
give you a 1. He was okay.
Yep.
He accepted it too quick. He knows that's generous then. Hawley, you then
He was
went.
all right.
You then went on a very interesting run of 3 picks. Tampa Bay, Jared Verse. Well done. 2 points.
Yeah.
27, Arizona, Graham Barton. I cannot believe you took an O-lineman again. That's your third in 5 picks O-line. I'll give you a 0.5. And then you took the boring receiver, Ladd McConkey, to Buffalo. You took Ladd.
That's a 2.
I gave you a 2 for that.
Jeez,
I did well.
Yeah, you did. That was Verse and McConkey within 2 picks. I then got a 0 with Troy Franklin to Detroit.
Oh, yeah, that was a real early. He went 3rd round.
Yeah, that's a
Troy
shocker.
Franklin.
That's a really bad one. That's
you
my
were big
worst.
on him out of Oregon.
Yeah, I know. He's been a disaster. Pick 30 was you again, Doss. Tyler.
4th round.
4th round, and I took him in the first. What? Why am I doing this exercise?
Pick 102.
You know what?
You should get
I'm giving myself a minus.
Where's the Crimsons?
I'm giving myself a minus point for that. I dropped down -1. That's pathetic. Doss, pick 30. You took Tyler Guyton. I gave you a 0.5. You had a PFF
fair.
grade under 50.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Morgan, Doss, for San Francisco at 31 you took, and that's
Injured.
a 0. Did he play at all? He did play a bit, so I have to give you a 0 for him playing.
Let me remember. I remember him playing many games.
Didn't play much. And
He
then
started one. No, he only played 6 games. Only started one.
Yeah,
He was injured.
thin draft, Doss.
And then I took
Injuries.
I took Byron Murphy at Kansas City. So that's a 1.
Started off well.
Yeah, I gave
and
a 1.
then did his hamstring getting double teamed.
That's right. But where it spits out, and you boys had an input into that process, right? There.
Yeah,
And
we
so
changed it up a little bit, didn't
I
we?
wasn't being overly gratuitous to myself or harsh on you guys, right?
But it wouldn't
So-
be a segment, and if you had gone through, worked it all out, and realised you were dead last, it would never have
We
made it.
probably wouldn't have done this
Rubbish.
exercise.
Segment
How
wouldn't
many
have
things?
made it to
I've
the
lost heaps of
podcast.
stuff on this that I put it there. You guys
Yeah,
are
but they've
such
been
liars.
live things that we've had going for numerous weeks, whereas this just all of a sudden popped up today.
I said 2 weeks ago we'd be assessing the draft. I didn't say there'd be a points table. Anyway, point being, I won.
So what a surprise, Gus.
Even with the adjustments, 12.25 points on 10 picks. Hawley, you went 9 points on 10 picks. And Doss, you went 9.5 points on 11 picks.
Okay.
So,
So we're all pretty close, Dustin.
Yeah,
well, you two are close. I wasn't. I was streaking out.
How many picks did you have?
I had 10.
10. I had 10 as well, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
You had
fair way-
11, but we took your one out of the
You're a
pool.
fair way ahead of me then. I'll be better this year.
All right, look, it's been a long episode. That was a very self-serving segment. You're right. But Hawley.
should pull up the wins total scoreboard, Hawley, that we were streets clear of. I don't think we ended up revealing that, did we, at the end of the year? Because you were so far back.
No, you know what? I genuinely tried to make that an episode where we'd reveal it and give you the kudos. But what you did is you kept reading out the score every week from your own tally and ruining the surprise.
And
He kept bringing it
us
up.
the spreadsheet.
I was trying to reveal it as a DOS win and you ruined it because you couldn't wait.
Well, I've got some other ideas that we can do over the off season as well.
Oh, okay. What are they?
No.
We'll keep it?
We'll keep it going. We don't want to reveal everything that we got planned. Jeez.
All right. Well, speaking of revealing, I mean, you did your joke of the week at the top
I
of
have
the
a
show.
couple more if you want them.
Yep. DOS, your camera's run out again. I can't be bothered.
Okay.
You're black for this segment on YouTube. Here we go.
Two more jokes. I met a bloke from Australia who worked in IT and asked him, "Do you come from a land down under?"
LAN.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Local area network.
Yeah. Not bad.
Local area network and just kill it.
Well, you didn't hear it right because you didn't laugh.
oh.
You thought he said land, didn't you?
No.
Why didn't you laugh? Why didn't you laugh till I described
Because
it?
it wasn't that great.
It
Anyway,
wasn't
I like
funny.
the wombat one better.
I've got another. I've got one. A koala one.
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Just
Why do
native
koalas? Why do
marsupial.
koalas? Why do koalas make for such a bad husband? Because they eat roots, shoots, and leaves.
They what? Say that again.
Because he eats he eats roots, shoots, and leaves. You gotta say it. You gotta
Said it wrong the first time.
Yeah, I did. Why do koalas make for such a bad husband?
Why?
Because he eats roots, shoots, and leaves.
Okay.
You know, he
bit
eats
rude,
roots, shoots, and
honest.
leaves. Yeah. Oh,
So you apologise for a wombat getting killed in a joke,
Well,
and then
then
you had to make a sex joke to finish the show.
no. Well, yeah, I did. But that's only because you said my first joke was appropriate.
It was good. First joke was
And
good.
I didn't think it was appropriate. So now I've gone back and tried to find one that wasn't appropriate. Cheap laughs. And I screwed up how to say it, I guess.
Messed up the delivery of it.
Can't
Should
win
just
the
stay
World
with
Cup
the first joke.
Oh, Dos, I wish your camera worked for that. Your reactions were priceless. Okay, that's the
now. Why
show.
have I got so many like marsupial jokes on this page?
That's what I was thinking as
Why
well.
were they all Australian themed? Did you go
I
AussieJokes.com?
just went, not funny jokes.
Your IP address must have been giving a strong
There we
Australian
go.
signal.
Keeplaughingforever.com/Aussie jokes. Wonder what I clicked on.
All right.
Oh, D's nuts jokes.
That's the
Can't click on it. Don't have internet.
You could do that next week. D's Nuts jokes coming next week. Mock draft next week. And
Cut that back bit out if you want.
No, I'll keep it in. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Thanks, mate.
If you're happy with it.
Appreciate it.
Are you happy with it?
Is what it is, isn't it?
Can't all be at our best all the time. All right, that's the show. Remember, podcast at outbackqb.com or DM us on our Instagram page if you want to read out or introduce your team's pick. You introduce it, we make the pick.
Follow us on Spotify.
Follow us.
And subscribe to us on YouTube.
That's a command, not a request. Please. Yes, we'll see you next week.
All painting and building.